Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Generative Business Pods kickoff call. It's fun. We haven't done this I kind of forgot. Like we used to do this kind of often. When we would start a new group of the pods, we would let everybody come on the first call. And it's been a while since we've done this. And this morning, some of you saw my post. It's my birthday today. So this is my birthday party. Thanks for coming to my birthday party. And I woke up this morning to a text from Maggie saying, "Happy birthday." And hey, what if we invited everybody to the call today? And I was like, oh my God, that it was just like my whole body lit up and got tingly and excited. And I was like, what I know about creation and business and energy is that when something shows up like that, you say yes to it. If you're smart, which occasionally I am, not all the time, but sometimes. um, and so thank you guys for your birthday wishes in the chat. That's really sweet. And one of the things that I wrote in my post this morning was like one of the greatest gifts to me in my life and in my world is actually getting to be part of like seeing people create and the conversation of creation and like watching people go, oh, I'm not limited, I'm not pathetic, I can actually choose whatever it is that I want to choose and create it. And it does come from choice. Like creation really does come from asking questions and making choices. And it's one of the reasons that I created the Generative Business Pods. I think it was about 4 years ago at this point. And we've been kind of going ever since with different groups of people. A lot of you guys who are on here have done it before or you're in it now. And it really was this, for me, this, I wanted to have a very ongoing conversation of creation with business from the elements of creation: question, choice, possibility, and contribution. And those really are the four things that if you use those elements and you play with them, and that's where you function from, you can create absolutely anything. And for me, it was like I had, I was
Ce-i trebuie?
um,
Tot cad în ăsta.
Nadia.
În jocul. Joacă-te, mă, ăla cel mai frumos.
Thank you. So I was newer to the tools of access at the time when I created this program, and it was like, gosh, this is a really different way of creating. The conversation of, question, choice, possibility, contribution, and the tools, and, really actually just acknowledging that we're infinite beings and then we can create anything, and then applying these tools to do that. And to me, it warranted like a specific playground, a specific conversation, a specific sort of context for, okay, this is about creating beyond this reality when you create with these tools. So let's get together and do that. Let's contribute to each other in what it is that we're creating, and get together and have conversations about all the different aspects of creating, and including your family and including your life and including your body, and recognizing that business is not just the thing that you do to make money, but it's actually the entirety of your life and living. And you don't even have to have a business, like a business, quote unquote, to be in this program. It's not what it's about. And so it's just been so cool over the years to be seeing people just stepping in more and more and more through these constant conversations and constant reminders of what's actually possible, and having people like having a space where we can contribute to each other, which is another piece that to me is so very exciting about it, about this playground, is um, it is about contributing to each other's creations, and to each other in the process of creation, and in the use of totally different, wacky, strange, weird, super effective tools for creation. Because it's a courageous choice, to use access consciousness. To do any access is a courageous choice. It's a very different thing, you know. And so thank you all for being here and for your choice, to be part of this conversation, whatever that is for you. And so this particular, I mean, it's interesting because we have a group of people who are in the pods. They've chosen to be part of the generative business pods, and a lot of those people have been in really regular conversations with me. Some people are new. Some people have done the pods at least once, if not two, to however many times before. And then a whole bunch of amazing people who are like, yes, I want to come and play for this call. And one of the things that we've been doing in that we changed how this particular round is being created, because that's what you do in business. Gary Douglas says the only thing required to have a successful business is change. That's it. Just change, right? And if you change, you stay, there's this way that we stay in this constant space of creation, that is super dynamic and super different. And because in this reality, you know, business is so much about like getting it right and having this like linearity of like, what do I need to do next, and what do I need to do next, and how's this going to turn out, and what's this going to create, rather than, oh, what could I change today to create more right away? What's actually available in the universe as possibility, that I could choose, and what can I change to give myself greater access to that? And what can I choose to give myself greater access to that, to expand my life and living right away? And one of the things that's so cool to me about that is that it's like, you know, the universe is totally chaotic, and that's not a problem. And a couple years ago, we started really diving into this conversation of chaos and access, and really getting like, this is not a problem. Like, this is actually a possibility. This, like, the chaotic movement of molecules and possibilities and creation. And actually, side note, there's a really freaking cool show called How the Universe Works. It's a free thing. You can Google it. It's on a couple different, I think it's on Amazon and a couple different other websites. How the Universe Works. So cool. Like, they actually like show you like what happens with molecules and like creation, and like, oh, planets and comets and like stars. It's really, really cool, because it gives you this sense of like, oh my God, like the chaos and the movement that is always occurring in the universe is so dynamic. And when I watched just one of, it's like a series, so when I watched like one of these shows, I was like, oh man, like, we are tiny, you know, even this planet is just tiny, you know. And it's not about, oh cool, Jenny popped a link in the chat. That's great, thank you, honey. So it was this sense of like, wow, like, what is actually available to us as creation and as possibility. If you look at like how vast the universe is, it's like, we can actually be tapping into that. And that's one of the things that I love about access to consciousness, is when we ask questions and we make choices, we're constantly like unlocking and unleashing and unfolding and giving ourselves greater access to that space of creation, of like, the way that I access like a universe of possibility is actually by asking questions. That's how we enlist the quantum entanglements to go to work on our behalf. And then we choose, right? We step in and we choose, and we go, okay, I don't know how this is going to get created. I don't know how this is going to happen. I don't know how this is going to show up. But yes, that's one of my favorite things to do. Is just, okay, yeah, I'm aware of something. Great, let's do it. I have no idea. I have no idea how I'm going to create this. And you don't have to. You do not have to. And that's for me. So for those of you who are in this 4-month adventure or are going to play with us here, to me, that is like one of my big demands right now that I want to really bring and invite to this group is really, really, like really, really, what would you like to create? 4 months is a very long time in humanoid time, which is partially why we took the program from 6 months to 4 months, is because I was like, 6 months is now kind of like 2 years. So let's make it a little shorter and see what that creates. So 4 months is an extraordinarily, like it's a very robust and abundant period of time, let's just say, because what you can create in 10 seconds with choice, if you're really willing to use these tools, is crazy dynamic, crazy dynamic. And so multiply that by, however many 10-second increments there are in a day. I know I've done the math before. It's a lot. I don't remember the number, but it's many digits, let's just say, which is, kind of like, how many choices could you make in a day? Whatever that is. Like, if somebody wants to do the math, let us know. But and then, times 30 times 4, like, so if you are willing to play on the playground of chaos and play on the playground of change as one of the main spaces and places of creation with your life and business, and just go, holy shit, here's something in front of me. It's light. I'm going to jump, I'm going to choose, and I'm going to use these tools, and I'm going to ask questions, and I'm going to have new awareness, and I'm going to receive the contribution of the universe. Because the universe actually is so huge and so vast and so full of possibility. It's when we make ourselves finite beings rather than the infinite beings that we actually be, that we diminish creation, we diminish our lives, we diminish possibilities, we diminish what we can actually receive. And so the great news about that is that it's up to us. Like, it really is up to us to actually just go, today is like this huge abundance of possibilities and questions and choices. What would I actually like to create today? What are the possibilities that are available to me today that are not available to others or have not been available to me before? And when we're willing to turn it up with the level of presence that we have, the level of questions that we ask, the level of choices that we make, you are constantly stepping into a totally new playground, a totally different playground of creation that will allow you to outcreate you and like explode into a totally different space of receiving and being. And if you're looking at money, like money flows in business, we're going to play a lot this round with creating multiple revenue streams and creating financial systems and business systems to accommodate that. So really, really, diving into what can you actually receive and what can you actually be. And I'll say, like, this program to me, like this particular round, we're going to, well, I'll talk a little bit about how it's sort of giving you guys, I want to give you guys a lay of the land. But to me, the business pods has always been about being you. Because anything that you're asking for in your life, which to me, your life is your business. So it could be in your business, it could be relationships, it could be, like, we had a beautiful, amazing woman one time take this program for her body. Like, she was like, there's a big change I want to create with my body. And for whatever reason, my body is asking me to sign up for the pods. And I don't have a business and I don't really want to have a business. And I'm like, great. because it's about being and receiving and creation. And she had this amazing, amazing thing show up with her body, a lot of healing, a lot of change, a lot of just gratitude and joy. And it was really cool. So people have used this container, this journey, for lots of different things that they want to create. But the basis to me of whatever you'd like to have more of in your life is, I mean, we're talking about receiving, and the more you can receive, the more you can receive, right? The more you can have in your life. And what increases and expands our receiving, it is when we are willing to be more, that our receiving increases. So to me, going straight away to the conversation of being, and what is it that you be that is unique to the world? What do you know that is unique to the world? What can you create from there that is a unique gift to the world? Is the most direct route, in a way. I'm very pragmatic with this stuff. It's the most direct route to actually having an expansion of your business, your life, your reality, your receiving, your money flows, your creation, being more, being more, being more every day. As we be more, we receive more. As we receive more, we be more. And then everything organically grows and flourishes from there. And it's fun to like, you know, when I first created this program, it was like, I want to explore that. You know, it was more of a bit of a theoretical conversation for me that I wanted to know more about. And as I've played more and more with these tools and used them in my own life and my own business, I will say that, you know, 14 or so years of creating business without the tools of access consciousness, and this little niggling sense in the back of my world of like, there has to be a way to create business and grow business from being me, and that's easier and more dynamic and more effective. And I just, I hadn't found access yet, and I hadn't found me yet. Nobody had invited me really to know what I knew and to be in that conversation. And when I started really diligently applying these tools as much as I could, as much as I was willing to choose, to the creation of my business, it has just grown and grown and grown and grown and multiplied and multiplied and multiplied over the past 7 years. And so it's one of the things that brings me the most joy is this, that it actually is possible that when we be us, when we be more, that our whole lives can flourish, our money flows can flourish, our businesses can flourish. It's the easiest way to grow your business. Being you, this is a meme, being you is the easiest way to grow your business. Everything else is way too much work as far as I'm concerned. And I did it for a long time. And it was like, I was sort of eking along, you know, and then I found this stuff and I was like, okay, well, every time I get to a place where I want more, you know, I know that I need to be more. And that's the place that I go always. And it always works. And how cool is that? And how does it get better than that? And to me, that is just fucking great news. And the conversation that I want to be part of, and that I want to be, you know, playing with other people around. And, you know, going back to this, like the gift for me is actually seeing that in the world in a greater way through each and every one of you who chooses more. We change the world every time you ask a question, you know. You create something different in the world. Every time you make a choice, you create something different in the world. You change the world by choosing to be more of you. And we tend to suck at acknowledging that. So that is also a huge part of the conversation of these pods in this program is acknowledgement, 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 acknowledgement. People who have been in the pods before are smiling and giggling because I talk about it all the fucking time, like pretty much every call, because we forget pretty much every day, every 10 seconds, we forget. Oh, right. I'm actually way more cool than I thought I was. You know, I'm creating way more than I thought I was. So that also is a conversation that really bears repeating and diving into more and more, because as the wonderful Dane here has said, what we do not acknowledge does not exist. And when you create with these tools, you're creating energetically, you're creating a future energetically that is like this amazing movement of molecules beneath the surface, a lot of times, of what you can see. And so you have to look at the energy, you have to perceive the energy and be curious about the energy of what's actually going on in your business, in your life. Because if you don't, there's this universe of creation that hasn't maybe yet come to fruition, that if you don't see it, if you can't touch it, if you can't see it in your bank account, if you can't whatever, you know, see the tangible results, we go to judgment and we actually kill it. We kill this universe of creation that we are nurturing with our choices and our questions and our being. And so another piece of great news, as far as I'm concerned, is you acknowledge, you really be willing to have the courage to acknowledge what is true for you, what is actually going on, the futures that you're actually creating that nobody can see, that people might call you fucking crazy for being aware of and acknowledging. You do that, you are exploding your business. You are nurturing your business and the growth of your business and your life very, very dynamically. And it's a courageous choice. It is a very courageous choice to function from the energetics of creation, because it's a world that is largely unseen, undefinable, unknowable, inconceivable. And yet it is the gifts that come when we're willing to do that are absolutely beyond this reality. I mean, I've heard Gary talk about the growth of Access and how the company, grows 30 to 50% a year. And my business has been growing even more than that every year. And that is a level of growth that is totally an anomaly in this reality. Most businesses, it's 2 to 5% a year. As humanoids, we're like, fuck that, 2 to 5%. Like, no. When you know that there's something very different available, it's hard to kind of accept the status quo, which is part of your brilliance, and part of the things that we judge the most. But when you use the tools that are beyond this reality, you get to create realities beyond this reality, including things like that. So I want to give you guys a lay of the land of the next 4 months, and but I want to just, since I've been talking nonstop for 26 minutes, I want to see if you guys have any questions before I do that. So. You have to unmute yourself if you want to ask a question. Lower left corner of your Zoom.
Hey Heather, it's Michelle.
Hi.
It is exquisite in the Seattle area today, so I'm out on my porch where the squirrel is having an attack and the planes are going by, so hopefully it won't be too loud. But so it's actually in some ways more of an acknowledgement. So Bill and I are starting this new real estate investing adventure, and I was chatting with a couple that I'm pretty good friends with. They have a successful real estate.
Oh, yeah.
They're successful. So the guy about things like
You're cutting out, honey.
Am I cutting in and out? Oh, okay. Let me go inside. I think it's not as good internet out here.
But we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so he was talking about how, I needed to why would I want to get distracted from what my real passion is, or having to focus on just one thing. And it was just so fun to be able to notice how I could stay in interesting point of view about that. And I mean, it's the kind of conversation coming from someone who's an expert, right? They've got this really successful business, right? They make a lot of money and it's always growing. To not just kind of have that be a huge stop in my world.
Yeah.
It wasn't without some, moments, but yeah.
Yeah. So I'm echoing yourself, or if you have a question, that helps too. Yeah. So just for those of you who aren't in the pods and you don't know this, we one of the things that's part of this round of pods is a 10-part telecall that I'm doing called Irreverent Creation. And that call is actually going through the 10 keys to freedom and access consciousness from the conversation of creation, and really looking at every single key through the eyes of creation, and how can we use it to create in our businesses and in our lives. And we just did a call 2 days ago, I think, on interesting point of view. So Michelle, are you willing to be, and Michelle's in the pod, so she was on that call, or I think you were on that call, yeah? Or you listened after or something? Yeah, that's what I thought. So are you really, really willing to be interesting point of view with this conversation and this person?
Um, 80%.
Okay.
There's a no in there too.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly the kind of conversation that in the past, like one of my real triggers would be to have this sort of expert man kind of in this fatherly way, giving me advice about something. It did not trigger me in that way.
Cool.
And there's still some thing there. Yeah.
So if you could, the echo's pretty loud. So whose lies, what lies, and how many lies, and how many beingnesses are you using to create the diminishment of you from others' points of view are you choosing? And everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right, wrong, good, bad, all night, puck, pot, shorts, boys and beyonds. Whose lies, what lies, and how many lies are you using to create the diminishment of you and the diminishment of the space of creation that you be from others' points of view are you choosing? And everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right, wrong, good, bad, all night, puck, pot, shorts, boys and beyonds. And what's the value of that?
The diminishment? What's the value of the diminishment?
Yeah.
Fitting, it's a fitting in.
You get to be pathetic.
So the image that popped to mind is having this role of keeping my dad specifically, like kind of up on this pedestal, and like a role of totally getting, as I was growing up, how like like kind of how vulnerable he was, but like making it my job to kind of keep that in place. Something that's the image that popped into my mind.
Was he playful or fragile? You're muted. I didn't hear what you said because you're muted.
I didn't hear. I was saying that I didn't hear what you said.
Oh. I said, was he vulnerable or fragile?
Fragile.
Yeah, different energy. So everywhere you've organized you to protect the fragility of your dad, we destroy and create all of that.
Yeah.
Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, puck, five, shirts, with hands. And that, I mean, because I know you have worked with you, that how much does that run through your whole business and everything that you create?
A ton. It's weird how I can see how energetically it doesn't really even match these other men where I do the same thing, but it's still the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's the, it's like, we've been talking a lot lately about don't ask why, pock and pod the lie. So that's some of the why, right? Which is, if you continue to focus on that, then you can just start to pock and pod the lie of that. So whose lies, what lies, and how many beingnesses are you using to create the diminishment of you for your dad's fragility are you choosing? And the world's fragility and men's fragility and everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
on my puck pod shirts with mans.
And my husband's fragility.
Right. It's like
huge
men,
one.
like
Yeah.
all the men. Yeah. Because if you outcreated or, were as fabulous as you are, or as, I mean, when you be interesting point of view, it's actually a space that is it's this weirdly like impenetrable vulnerability, it's actual vulnerability, because you have such a space of allowance that there's nothing that can get you or grab you or like fuck with you, and it's also like people lose their capacity to control you with their judgments when you be interesting point of view. Which is why, one of the reasons I really wanted to dive into the 10 keys in the beginning, is, and just period, is because they really are, we've talked about this in those calls, but 95% of the stuff that you have going on in your world can be handled with these 10 keys. And, I've been doing access for about 7 or 8 years now. I'm really, really just starting to get how fucking dynamic these keys are, and actually really use them. And one of the things that, for those of you who haven't, because another thing we've been doing in the pods is the set of energy polls that I'm doing right now called Just Choose. So all about choice, like kind of daily conversations about choice and energy polls. And that's part of the pods as well. So we've been talking in there about, today we were talking about just actually the willingness to choose to have the tools actually work. Because you can throw interesting point of view around, you can be like, oh, interesting point of view, they have this point of view, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. But it's a tool that actually can move into your world and whoosh, like explode judgment into allowance, for you and for everybody around you. And it can work like that if you're willing for it to work. If you're willing to have the potency and to be the potency of somebody who's willing to have tools that are beyond this reality. And what happens is people cannot control you. If you are willing to be interesting point of view, if you're willing to be the infinite being you truly be, if you're willing to choose every 10 seconds, not listen to, tell her by this story, all those things that are all part of the keys, you become uncontrollable by other people around you, which is the big hook with relationships. And I don't just mean, romantic relationships, but the people that are in your life. There's this investment, like this reality is all about control. And most relationships in this reality are about control and controlling you into a diminishment of you rather than contributing to the greatness of you. So when you really begin to embody choice as a reality, question as a reality, IPOV as a reality, being an infinite being as a reality, you are no longer controlled and controllable by the rest of the world. Are you willing to be that? That is a threat to this reality, and it is a threat to other people that are in your life. And it is also an incredible invitation to consciousness, to possibility, to creation, to joy, to orgasmic living, to abundant money flows, to a thriving business. So, and people will respond however they're going to respond. You don't get to control that, but are you willing to be that gift for you and for anybody who might be willing to receive it? And I'm asking this of all of you. Anybody want to shake your head, yes or no? Cool. So everything that doesn't allow that, and all the lies and the beingnesses that you are using to keep yourself at the effect of this reality, rather than use the tools and be the space that works, we just turn and create all of that. Right, wrong, good, bad, online, PowerPoint, shirts, business. And I am like fascinated right now by the conversation of choice, because everything is a choice. If you choose to use a tool that, like, apply it to your life and have it work like that, that's a choice. The choice to kind of use it is a choice. The choice to not use it at all is a choice. And nothing's better or worse. It's not a good or bad. You should choose the right, good, perfect, and correct consciousness thing. But when you acknowledge that you are choosing, period, I'm choosing right now. I'm choosing to be, I'm choosing to only be 80% of what I can actually be. I'm choosing to let these points of view affect my point of view. I'm choosing to not actually use IPOV the way that I could be using it. That's not a problem. That's not a wrongness. But when you recognize that you are choosing it without judgment, then the array of choices that are available to you become way bigger, way, 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 way bigger, greater, more, plentiful and abundant. And then you also don't have to judge yourself into the right choice. You can just keep choosing and playing and seeing what that's going to create and what awareness you're going to get from it. And so, back to interesting point of view, when you can be that, it gives you a space of possibility and choice and creation that is so different, so different. And one of the things I've been playing with a lot in my own world lately is just going, every time I watch myself go to diminishment, contraction, pathetic, being at the effect of, wanting to go into my story, I go, all right, I totally can do that right now. I can totally do that right now. That is totally a choice that I have, and I'm willing to have total allowance for that choice. And what's the future that I am actually asking to create here? And if I go there, is that gonna create the future that I'm asking to create? No. Okay, cool. So I can still go there, but if I go there, I want to acknowledge that my choice is probably not going to create what I am saying that I'd like to create. And there are moments where I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to totally indulge in being pathetic, but more and more, it's like, I'm asking for a lot of really, really rapid, dynamic change and expansion and growth, and like everything in every aspect of my life. So if I want to get to the end of the day and have a greater world, not just for me, but for the world, then how many choices can I make today that will actually really nurture that future that I'd like to have? And again, staying on a judgment of that, because if you judge what you are choosing or are not choosing, you stick yourself, and you diminish the choices that you have in the future. So I'm excited. Let me just talk a little bit about the layout of these 4 months, because this month we're doing this 10-part telecall, and the telecall is open to everybody. So if you are interested in joining us for the call, it's part of the pods. You can join the pods and get the call and the energy pulls, or you can just join us for the call. We've done 3 so far, or no, 3? No, 2. We've done 2 so far. We have another one tomorrow. But we're going through each of the 10 keys really with this kind of a conversation pretty rapidly. I think it ends in the middle of April. So, because I wanted that to be like the groundwork for these pods, is really, really using these 10 keys and being these 10 keys and having a level of freedom that they give us and the level of choice that we can have. That really allows you to stay in that very dynamic space of creation. And we're also doing, some of you have already done it, but in case those of you who are in the pods who didn't see the post, I haven't had a chance to send an email yet. We are doing private one-on-twos, me and Maggie, meeting with everybody for 20 minutes and looking at your business and what you'd like to create. So it's different than we used to do a survey. We want to do it in person now. So there's a link that we'll send you guys. It's in the Facebook group where you can sign up for your 20-minute slot. So there's that. And then this is our one group call of the month. And then we'll have a pod call every month, which is 5 people coming together, and you get to ask very specific questions about your business, and we really dive in and look at that together. If you've been in the pods before, we're doing it differently this time. We used to create the pods and you'd be in the same pod for the whole time. Now we're actually just putting up calls and putting up 5 slots and putting up times, and you get to just sign up. So mixing it up, you get to be with different people, which is kind of fun. You get to choose what works for your schedule. If you need to switch, you can find somebody that might be able to switch with you. So it's just a little more fluid in that way, but we will have one of those every month that you can, there's a few of the calls, but one for each of you to sign up for every month. And that link, like I said, is in the Facebook group. Next month, we thought it would be fun to do kind of different themes like for each of the 4 months. And next month, we're going to really play with creating multiple revenue streams as a very specific conversation that we're having over the course of the month. I want to do some financial systems stuff. I actually am a geeky bookkeeper. Not everybody knows this about me, but I have kept my own books on QuickBooks since I was like 20. And so I'm a geek in that way. And I love profit and loss statements, and I love doing that stuff. And so I'm going to play with you guys in that way. And we'll help you create some financial systems for tracking, having you don't have to use QuickBooks, don't worry. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do, but just as a possibility, spreadsheets, QuickBooks, we'll play with that. So you can start to look at how you want to be organizing your finances. If you don't have awareness of what is happening with your money, you really will limit yourself in what you can create. Right now, the way my books are set up is I click a button in QuickBooks and it shows me exactly what's going on in my business financially at any given moment. What are the inflows? What are the outflows? It's a really, really cool tool. So, and it's actually very easy. So I will show you guys some QuickBooks. And, you don't have to do it. It's not like we're going to do a QuickBooks intensive, just as a tool that you can use. But also really staying in that conversation of creation with revenue streams. So if we're using these 10 keys, if you're actually using choice, if you're playing with, choosing what's true for you, knowing what you know, what's fun for you to create, asking really different questions. What are the revenue streams that you can start to add to your business? Like you were talking about, Michelle, like, oh, I'm gonna do a real estate thing. Cool. How many different types of revenue streams can you have? How many revenue streams can you have within your business? And then within each creation, there's revenue streams available there too. So it's like creating these revenue streams that kind of spin off and spin off and spin off. There's millions of revenue streams that you can create. And I want to really get us in the conversation of really looking at that and choosing to play with some of those things and institute some of those things. In the 3rd month, Maggie is bringing her brilliance with business systems. So we're going to play more in the month of May with creating business systems, and looking at, okay, so if you are going to create many revenue streams, what are the systems that you need to have in your business in order to put those into place in a way that is ease for you? Business systems allow your business to grow. If you don't have systems in your business that can accommodate what you would like to create, you will stop at all the great ideas that you have, and that will be that. So systems in your business, one of the things that I love to do is create systems that are way bigger than what my business is currently. So my business can grow into those systems, and continuing to use these tools of question, choice, possibility, contribution, continuing to play with the energy, to play with the 10 keys, to play with choice, and applying systems that are fluid and changeable and adjustable and expandable, so that our businesses can, like all these creations that we're adding, can really expand into that. And it might be, one of the ways I look at business systems too is, when I look at like the business systems of my life, as a mom, one of my key business systems is a beautiful and amazing woman who comes and picks up my children from school and makes them dinner and makes them lunches and does my laundry and nurtures me and my household. And that is a very valuable system, resource, thing that I've added to my life, person that I've added to my life, to make the creation of my whole life easier. And so when I say business systems, does that include PayPal buttons and websites? Yes. Does it include making sure that you are nurtured so that you can dynamically create whatever it is that you would like to create? Yes. So it can be lots of things, and we'll take a deeper dive into that. And then the month of June is going to be all about being you in business, really playing with those conversations, which of course we're doing the whole time. But when you've got, more revenue streams kicking and more, like some of the business systems in place, and really using these tools dynamically, how much more can you show up? How much more can you create? What else can you step into that, because if you don't have the support with the systems in your life and business, then you really do. I mean, I've seen this, I still do this all the time. Everything stops at a good idea, and they never get instituted into the world. And the world actually really does require you. And as my good friend Katarina Nelson, who's listening, has coined the beautiful tagline, the world desires you. And it does, and it's like, when you're looking at exploding into the world with whatever it is that you'd like to be and create, if you don't have the tools and you don't have the platforms and you don't have the systems to support that, you sort of stop yourself, and it's a lot of creating more work than is required. So really just like allowing all these conversations to layer on top of each other and integrate with each other and build on each other. There's a couple logistics.
Can I add something in there?
Yes, please.
One of the months, I think it's the third month, and we're doing did you say Anatomy of the Launch?
Can you talk about that?
Yeah. And so Anatomy of a Launch is something that I've done for other pods, but this time we're going through it live again, and we're going to go through all the different questions you can ask when you go into a launch, and I'll be putting the dates up soon so you guys can look at your calendars and see what you want to create, because we'll actually go through launching together. And so we'll have a couple of days in a row where we'll look at what the launch looks like. You'll get to work, you'll put it into action, we'll get on a phone call, we'll ask questions, we'll expand it some more. Just like we do with Generative Business Pods, it's like there's different things that pop at different times. So for one of the months, we're doing this whole launch that we all get to be in the energy of launch together on top of everything else.
Yeah, and it can be, again, like, because some people here have established businesses, and some don't. Like in, business, I always put in quotes, like what we think of when we think of business, but you all have a business that's called your life. So what would you like to launch? Is like, maybe it's like a new reality with your family, or, so it can be anything. And Maggie does have a real brilliance. Maggie and Jenny both a real brilliance with technology and systems and creation. So Jenny B, who here, I'll let you talk in a second. She does some really cool, she does office hours. So let me just talk about, because somebody's asking here, I missed it. Is it one Zoom with everyone a month and one call in a smaller group? So here's all the different aspects of what we do in the pods, and it's different for those of you who've been in it before. So every month we have one, we're doing two. This month we're doing one because of the telecall that we're doing. But every month we have 2 group calls with me, where it's similar to this, not as many logistics, because this is the kickoff call. Hey, Avery, will you give me my charger in my bedroom, honey? Thank you. My computer charger. I have a low battery. But we'll do 2 group calls with me on the energetics of creation. So if we're looking at finances, if we're looking at business systems, we'll be looking at the energetics of that. I mean, that's always woven through in all the conversations, but those are, the whole group comes together. We get on Zoom. We're doing them on Zoom now. And we just play with a topic, whatever's popping based on what's going on in your specific businesses. And then, sorry, my computer is gonna die. So that's one format of the calls that we have, group calls, and this is technically a group call. And this month we're doing so many of them because we have the irreverent creation calls. So we have, like, I don't even know how many. There's other people on those calls because there are people that are just doing that telecall and they're not in the pods. And then the pod calls, we have one of those a month. That's 5 people on a call with me for 75 minutes. And it's sort of a bit of a round robin where everybody kind of takes a turn. They have 15 to 20 minutes where we really look together at their business. And it's really cool because you get to hear what's up in other people, like what other people are doing. You get to hear other people getting facilitated. And those calls just do this thing that's really cool, created by everybody's questions and the conversations that are going on. And they're always just sort of like perfectly created based on what everybody's looking at. So those are once a month with me. And then we do, after this month, the Just Choose energy polls are part of the pods as well. So every day we're doing energy polls in a different group. But otherwise, when that's not going on, I do weekly polls specifically with the pods. So weekly energy poll, 20 minutes in our Facebook group. And then we have Maggie doing business system stuff. We're going to do less of it in the beginning, more of it in May. And Jenny doing every month an office hours Zoom where you get to come and, look at your technology, look at whatever it is that you're looking at. Ask, it's kind of Q&A and Jenny's amazing brilliance. And then there's other things. There's, we have a really cool Facebook group. There's everybody in the pods gets 50% off private sessions with me while you're in the pods. And I'm always tossing in all kinds of bonuses, stuff, whatever may pop. You get discounts on my energy polls, stuff like that. So Jenny, do you want to say hi? And
Yeah, hi guys. Some of you know me, some of you don't. I've worked with Heather and Maggie for nearly 4 years now, 3 years. I started off on Joy of Business, doing Heather's Joy of Business class, and from there my incapacity with business has become capacities, and that's what I'd like to share with you guys. So literally it's a free form meet that we have, and officers is always about you and what you want to bring, and it's just anything goes. And a lot of energetic play as well, but mainly questions about what we can create for you and turn around anything that's stuck for you. And that's it, really.
Awesome.
I love it. But I wanted to say as well is some of the stuff that we've done, Heather, is when you do your sessions and there's money off, sometimes when you've got no words about what's stuck for you, your symphony sessions really rock and open up that space as well. So sometimes the work on the body can create, or the energetics can create the space for you and your business to choose something else. So even if you've got no words about what is sticking you, then that's a really great way to allow that play to open up.
That's cool. I love doing symphony sessions.
I know you do. You're brilliant.
In the world. I could do them all day long. Yeah, cool. Thank you. So yeah, what other questions do you guys? It could be about anything. Business, creation, being, anything about the pods, logistics. Are you fried?
Hey, Heather, it's Blair. Hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So I wrote a question in the chat, but I'll just ask you. I was listening to your 30-day of choice, and I liked it. So thank you for sharing that. It really kind of struck a chord for me today. My question is, can you choose, like I'm sort of in this interesting place right now that I'm not really sure if I'm choosing to do my business full-time or if I want to get a full-time job or a part-time job. And I don't know if this sort of confuses the universe that, hey, for 10 seconds, I am going to apply for jobs and I'm going to picture myself having a full-time job and how great that is, that it'll support the growing of my business. And I go apply for jobs, and then the next, many 10 minutes, I'm working on my business for the rest of the day. So,
so one of the things I like to do with, there's a lot, but one thing to remember is that choice creates awareness, right? So, and this is one of the things that is the most tricky for us to get, which is why I wanted to spend a whole month doing energy pulls on choice, because it is, there's like a rewiring of like the training from this reality that we have. That if you want to really use the tool of choice in a way that is really going to work for you. And every time you make a choice, you're going to actually have more awareness that you can't have before you make the choice. And a lot of times we're looking at choices, deciding what to choose based on trying to guess what's going to happen afterwards, but you don't actually get that awareness until you actually choose. So it's this thing that we do where we're like, I want to know what this choice is going to create. Even when you're like talking about choice and playing with choice and you're in this conversation. I do this, I'm doing it less now that I'm looking at it from this point of view, but of like, well, what's going to be the right choice that's going to get me the right result, Well, yeah. So everything that is, whose lies, what lies, how many lies, and how many beingnesses are you using to create the need and the necessity for the right, good, perfect, and correct choice, rather than the freedom of choice are you choosing? And everything that is times a gazillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right, wrong, good, bad, only, puck, putt, shorts, with ends. If you're looking for the right, good, perfect, and correct, or to avoid the wrong choice, that's not actual. It's something different. Like it's more of a computation of trying to assess what your choice is going to create, rather than going, well, shit. If the name of the game is, creation is really about what's required for creation is more awareness, right? Then any choice any choice that you make is going to give you more awareness. Any choice. It doesn't matter what the choice is. You're going to have more awareness. So you kind of can't lose, you know. That's the good news. And when you get out of the judgment of, you know, how do I make the right choice and not the wrong choice, then you actually have a freedom to play with choice in a really different way than you might have before. The other piece of it is to look at, like so I do this thing that I call zooming out, so let's do it right now. And you guys can all follow along. So Blair, you're looking at job or business, job or business, job or business. So what are you desiring to create? And don't answer it, just look at the energy of it. Okay. So what are you desiring to create with those choices?
Expansion. Oh, you said not to answer, but I already know the answers.
No, you can. But yeah, okay. So let's do it verbally. Okay. So expansion, and what else?
Peace and calm, happiness, enjoyment. Just like a nice flow, consistent flow moving forward.
Cool. Okay, so you actually went there kind of fast, because some people will go, more money. Okay, well then, so this is what I do. It's for the rest of you guys. And you can use this in the future, because somebody might say, let's just say somebody says more money. Okay, cool. Now what is more money going to give you? More ease. What is more ease going to give you? More relaxation, more being, more. So you zoom out, right? Now, what if you could choose that and leave the details up to the universe, right? So begin to ask for that. What can I choose? What can I create that will allow me to have greater levels of peace and ease and joy and, you know, all the other things that you said with total ease? And ask the universe to show you. Because then you don't have to get into the like, well, if I choose this, am I going to have more ease? Or if I choose this, am I going to have more ease? You know, again, looking for the awareness before the choice, as opposed to going, this is what I'd like to have. This is what I'm going to choose. And as soon as you choose it, you can actually start to be it. And then allow what shows up to, you know, what it's like, what's next? Now you've chosen those energies, you've chosen to be and have those energies. Now there's going to be more awareness. There's going to be more possibilities that the universe is now putting in front of you, you know, and then, oh, cool. Okay. Now I have different choices based on that choice and based on those possibilities.
Yeah, that makes me very nervous. It makes it's sort of like I feel my human self being like, so then what am I supposed to do on a day-to-day basis? Like I'm still working on my business, but it's like we have like sort of a clock ticking here. Like I have the clock ticking in my head now.
Okay, so what is the clock ticking?
The clock ticking is because I was on unemployment and it's ending like this week. And it's the memory of like I've been here in various ways before, so it's that memory.
Okay, so here's the thing, you know, when you're looking at, if I don't know if this is what's going on for you, but if you're looking at like money running out, or like, you know, even just a stop to your income or whatever, and it's like in 4 days this is going to happen, then another thing that I would really recommend asking and just playing with is, you know, what can I do today to create money right away? And because you can still be asking questions, you know, and maybe go get a job, you know. I mean, building a business is not a short-term thing. Building a business is something that it does take some time. It does take some nurturing and some substantiation of the energies of your business. And it can be, you know, you can create money right away too. But one of the things I see a lot with people who are creating their businesses is this, like, it's sort of this bastardization of like the humanoid reality of possibilities, where we're like, I'm going to create $1 million tomorrow. and then they don't, and then they're upset and they're broke and they're, and they're like, no, but I'm gonna do it tomorrow, and sometimes just, it's like having money coming in can actually assist with the relaxation of creation, that allows you to create your business from a different space. If you're creating your business because you have a desperate need for money, it will work against you. You're not gonna, it actually will diminish your money flows because people will perceive that even if they don't know they're perceiving that. So sometimes it literally is a pragmatic choice to go, all right, I just need to get some money coming in. I need to get some money flowing, so that I can be creating, and what if it isn't an either or universe? What if it isn't, you either get a job or you create a business, but you could do both, and you could go get a job and you could work for 3 days and go, well, this doesn't work for me, and then you could leave, so you're not locked in, like no choice is forever. You can always make a different choice. But sometimes when it comes to money, and if there's a sort of impending, like in your mind, sense of like, oh, the money's going to run out, just getting money coming in can make a huge difference with, and this is just, it's like, would an infinite being truly choose, you can use all the tools and it's like, just being pragmatic about it, and going, yeah, and I still, because if you were actually totally functioning from the 10 keys and totally functioning from being the infinite being that you truly be, would money be a problem? Not at all, and if you're not, it's like, okay, I'm working on it, and some income would be really great. Like, I'd like to, they're not mutually exclusive. And sometimes it just can relax you and give you space to create if you're not wondering how you're going to feed your family or whatever. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's like a lot of, I think, mixed feelings I have about getting a job, what kind of job. And then it's like, there's just like a lot of, I'm just sort of sitting in the silence of it and that's why it's like, what choice do I want to make? Because
so everywhere you're making it significant, everywhere you're making choice significant and lasting longer than 10 seconds, will you destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, online, pop, choice, boys, bands. Like really, you can make a different choice if the choice that you make doesn't work. And if you don't make your choices significant, that can really help. I know recently I sort of realized that a lot of choices I was seeing as like forever choices, and not really, that's the same thing as making them significant, it's like, mm-hmm. I gotta follow through, I gotta blah, 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 and what if that's not actually, you really can, it's not like, what if you're not a flake or you're not a flighty person or whatever, if you make a choice and then you make a different choice, you can't have the awareness of what your choice is going to create until you actually choose it. It's just not how it works. And a lot of times when we're frozen like that, it's because we don't actually, we'd like to have the awareness before the choice. It's not how it works. So.
Thank you. Still feeling very heavy, but working through it.
Just go get a job. Go get some money coming in, like, and see what that change. I mean, just, like, go get any job. You can quit tomorrow. You know what I mean?
And I've done that plenty of times. I've had like a million jobs. But the thing is, I think that maybe I will just have to I think maybe the easiest thing for me is just to walk around the neighborhood and just go in and get one of these things that I would consider a stupid job. That's judgment, but just at least to kind of have something, I guess.
Well, that's the thing, is creation begets creation. And so this is like, for all of you, it's like anytime you're wanting to create anything, just start somewhere, because that will open up a space of creation, that opens up a space of choice, that opens up a space of creation and choice and question and possibility. And sometimes you just need to get it moving, and so yeah, go get a stupid job, you know, and just see, like, and do it from question, you know, do it from, hey, what job, you know, or whatever stupid job, like judgment, whatever, but just, hey, universe, like I require money right away. Where can I go? Who can I talk to? What can I look at? What can I choose? Like, continue to use the tools and stay in question. And maybe you find a really phenomenal job, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely I'm definitely open to it. I've been saying like, well, what would it take just to find a job very easily that I like, and you know, don't make it a big deal to go look for a job. You know, that's like such a task usually.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So just, you know,
yeah.
so just play with that. You know, how much fun can you have with it?
Yeah. Thank you.
You can ask questions all the time, you know, going out there, walking around the neighborhood. Okay, what's going to create the most, turning right or turning left? You know, I mean, it's just, what if it was really just play?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, tomorrow.
Awesome. Cool.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, so we've been going a little long. Somebody just asked if the special pricing still applies or has it passed. It has passed, and it's actually like $200 more total with the pricing where it is now. So it's not a huge jump. If you were intimidated by the price going up, that might just help shift things. You can still join. We do have some spots, and would love to have any of you who are inspired to come and play. You can go to generativebusinesspods.com. There's tons of information there. A lot of it we've given you here, and there's links. Maggie posted it here in the chat. We do global pricing. So if you live in Australia, Canada, an 80% country or a 65% country in access consciousness, the global pricing scale, there's links on there. I don't think we have the 65% link, but we can add it. Can you add that, Maggie? Would that be easier? Okay. Yeah, and we'll, you know, this is sort of a more fluid way that we're doing it this time. So we're not going to like close. I mean, registration will close when it's full. So yeah. Any other last questions or anything? Cool. Yeah, I mean, whatever, like, I would just really invite you guys to be looking at, this is where I want to, and we have, and so just a reminder and like a summary, is for those of you guys who are in the pods, you know, and even if you're not, like, what would it be like to be stepping up your choice to use the tools that you have? Everybody's got different tools, and, you know, different tools available to you. You can all find the 10 keys. You can, you know, I don't know, I think it's on the website somewhere, but there's the book, The 10 Keys to Freedom. You can probably get it on Kindle for $10, you know. So those are 10 tools that will change your entire reality. And it is your choice to use them or not use them. And no choice is better or worse, you know, but it is your choice to, in this 10 seconds, to go, am I going to use a tool here to expand my future in my life? Or am I going to stay in my story? Am I going to stay committed to contraction? Am I going to stay committed to limitation? Or am I going to ask a different question? Or am I going to make a different choice? I'm going to use a new tool, or I'm going to use that same, you could use an interesting point of view. I have this point of view and nothing else for a year, and your entire reality will change. So it's not even about having a multiplicity of tools, which we've talked about a million of them in this call. But it's really about the choice to use them. And how committed are you to your life and living? How committed are you to what you would like to create and the future you'd like to have for you and create in the world? And are you willing to use the tools in such a way that allows that to become a reality way, way faster than anything that you've ever been willing to create and be before? Because you do have choice. You do have choice all the time. and you are choosing all the time. So what would you actually like to be choosing that matches the future that you would like to be creating? And there's a level of tenacity that comes with that, that to me is, it's fun, you know, just going, oh man, I really do, like, I really can create anything with this stuff, and I really do have total choice here, you know. And you are no longer at the effect of this reality when you function from that space. So thank you all so much. Lovely to have you here with us today. And for those of you in the pods or in the Reverent Creation call, we will have another call tomorrow. It's call time, lots of calls right now. Yeah, grateful for all of you. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.